getting sick. And the baby is being an absolute menace. Tell them what you've done. This girl has brought in not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 mice, at least 2 chipmunks, a toad, and at least 2 birds, both dead and alive, into this cottage in the past 2 weeks. Since it is a rainy, cozy, sick day, I'm going to show you guys how I make soup stock from my veggie scraps. Basically, anytime I'm cooking, I set aside a bowl and I throw all of my veggie scraps that are typically used when making a soup stock into that bowl, and I collect them and I stuff them in the freezer until the bag is full. So what you can find in here is onion skins, garlic skins, the butt ends of carrots, celery, green onion, just anything that I'm not using but is still food, you know? Never buy soup stock again. You own it already. You already bought it. I'm actually gonna try something that I've never tried before. I just boiled some corn on the cob, and I still have the water that I used to boil the corn. And it smells so good that I was just thinking, what if I use this water to make my soup stock? So I'm gonna toss all of my veggie scraps and my corn water, in addition to however much extra water I need, into a big pot, and I'm gonna show you how to make the soup stock. Once you have all of the veggie scraps in there, add water until they're fully covered. Add your dried herbs, your spices, a handful of black peppercorns, and turmeric. Add some bay leaves. I usually use 3 to 4. Add a little bit of salt. You can always add more when you're actually making the soup. Bring it to a boil and then reduce to a simmer. Soup season is in full effect. Oh, I missed doing this.
Feet on the stripes in the Alabama highway, out there in the open, just a wishing and a hoping. I could smell the pines when I let you in the doorway. Took the seat next to mine, like you've been there before. I'm befriended and then lose ya. Could never stand to lose ya. If I win, you're at my side. I'm befriended and then lose ya.
Love that for me. I think that went really well. I'm gonna go on a walk.
Number one is you have to have feel a very deep calling on the inside to do what you are actually trying to do. So with starting a business, I felt a really deep calling. Starting freelancing, I felt such a deep calling. I was like, there is no other path. This is my path. I have to do this.
I'd love to know what my neighbor is doing right now. I've been having some pretty slow days at the cottage lately. Mostly just reading and knitting. I'm kind of just like nesting a little bit with the changing between the seasons. I've been feeling a little bit under the weather, just really tired and lethargic, and my body just feels weak and sore, even though I've not really been doing too much over the past week. But on top of that, I think I'm just a little emotionally drained as well. Just going through some personal stuff in terms of my relationships with certain people. I've just been feeling tired, physically, emotionally, mentally tired. I want to try to incorporate more like intentional movement into my life, into my day-to-day. So I've slowly started getting back into doing some yoga, which I want to do more of, and kind of incorporate that practice into my morning routine, because I've kind of lost a grip on having a morning routine, and I think that would be very beneficial to just really like solidly get a grasp on again. Sometimes I kind of just jump into whatever project or task or like whatever I have going on that day. I just jump right into it, and when the hyper focus clicks in, I will sometimes, skip breakfast or skip like my hygiene routine, like washing my face, brushing my teeth. And I think as we move into winter, I really just want to focus on getting a grip on my morning routine and being more intentional with how I start my day, and just kind of taking that time to focus on my mental health and my physical health, and wake up without my phone, go out into the living room and do some yoga, make a coffee or a tea, like sit down and eat my breakfast before jumping into what I have going on that day. That's just something that's been kind of circling in my head as I've been having these slow days. I also used to boulder when I lived in Montreal. I would go to the rock climbing gym a lot, and I kind of fell off of that for two reasons. My roommate that I would climb with moved out, and when she moved out, I kind of just stopped going. And then in moving out to the cottage, it's just been harder to get myself to actually get up and go. So I am going to apply for a 6-month membership that will bring me all the way to the spring, right before I'm about to take off and go planting again. I'm gonna try to go to the climbing gym at least 3 times a week, because I really enjoy it, and it's just a lot of my struggle is that starting is the hardest part, and that is with essentially everything I do, like just starting the project that I want to be working on. It's not that I don't want to be doing these things, it's that the transition time between getting out of bed to getting into the task, or switching gears, like switching tasks or switching projects, like my ADHD, like transitions are really hard. So it makes starting really difficult. But then when the hyper focus kicks in, I forget to eat. So anyway, big long ramble, all of that to say, I've been moving slow lately, and I wanna start moving my body a little bit more intentionally through yoga and through hitting up the climbing gym, and honestly just like getting out more, walking the forest, walking the roads before winter really settles in and it gets hella snowy and hella cold. I just want to enjoy the property. So that being said, I got to a point in my knitting that I'm happy with, and I am going to go on a canoe. Potentially the last canoe of the season. So that's what I'm gonna do. I really don't want to get up, but it's gonna feel really good. It's gonna feel really good when I do it. So let's go. Let's do it. The water is so low right now. I'm gonna miss this when it's gone. But I'm gonna get my own. I'm gonna make my own. I don't know how long it'll take, but I feel like I was meant to live in the woods. Oh, I want to go scuba diving. I've been meaning to get my advanced certification for scuba for a very long time. A lot of what stops me from doing the things that I want to do is just the idea of doing it alone. But in living at the cottage alone, it's kind of forced me to start doing the things that I want to do alone, because for a good majority of my days, I am alone. So on top of joining the climbing gym, I might try to see if there is an advanced cert scuba class going on over the winter. I'm very interested in wreck diving, and cave diving would be super cool. There's a bunch of others, like there's like night diving. That would be terrifying. I think that'd be too much for me. I tend to get the SAD over the winter, like literal SAD, like seasonal affective disorder. I think that by kind of planning out some ideas of what I'm going to spend my time doing this winter would be a good place to start. Because keeping busy is a good way to banish the SAD. And if it doesn't banish the SAD, it's a good way to distract from the SAD, you know? Instead of just like sitting in it and feeling it, which is important to an extent. Like, I'm not saying avoid all of your feelings. Oh, there's a little fish there. I'm not saying like avoid your feelings. By all means, sit through it and feel them. but that can't be the only thing we're doing, you know? We gotta keep moving forward, even if it feels impossible. So I'm going to brainstorm some activities that will keep me occupied over the winter months before I go back to tree plant, which I'm very excited for already. What a Stockholm experience. Not a cult. Not a cult. The weeds are starting to disappear. They're sinking to the bottom. Just to come back with a vengeance next year. So fun. Maybe I'll live on a houseboat after the cottage. That is so sick. I love it.